You're listening to The Pete Sheppard Show.
From Dan Campbell, not surprised. He's got big onions. I mean, this is a bold move. Even with a first down, they cannot run out the clock because the Ravens still have all 3 timeouts.
Montgomery in the backfield on 4th and 2. Goff keeps, floats. Amon-Ra! Throw and catch! Unreal! But a flag is down back at the 50. Here's the call.
Holding. Defense number 44. Penalties decline. Scope the play. First down.
Troy Hop.
Onions, as Bill Rafferty would say, except Troy Aikman said it last night along with Joe Buck on the call. What a win by the Detroit Lions on the road. Dan Campbell, big, huge onions. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Pete Sheppard Show here on a terrific Tuesday. First time ever Detroit has beaten the Ravens in Baltimore. Happened last night, 38-30, in case you fell asleep on Monday Night Football. Pretty entertaining game overall. Hats off to the Lions. Kick-ass win. They got their butts beat there badly a couple of years ago, but not last night. Pass was the pass. We'll get into it, break it all down. A lot of highlights for you as well. Thanks for checking out the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Digital Network. Follow me at PShep326 on X, across our Facebook pages, our awesome app, SR1029 The Game, on Odyssey as well, Instagram now too, CSD in Florida, of course on YouTube, Rumble, Kick, and LinkedIn. And you can call or text the show, 727-858-6650, 727-858-6650. Lots of NFL news to tell you about, and not all of it is good. Lots of some significant injuries. Nick Bosa, Najee Harris, they're both done for the season. We'll break down what happened last night in Baltimore between the Ravens and the Lions. Just an absolutely outstanding game. My man Jay Flanley's going to have to, get off the high horse about Goff not being a good quarterback, because he is. I love Jay to death, but man, when he holds a grudge, he holds grudges. It's like someone spitting his Fruit Loops. But the Lions were outstanding last night, and so was Goff, and so was Montgomery. They couldn't stop him, could not stop him at all. But Jared Goff was very good as well. 20-28, 202 yards and a touchdown. Lamar Jackson was 21-27 for 288 yards and 3 touchdowns. They just their defense just could not stop the Lions, who were 3 for 3 on 4th down. We'll get into all of that coming up. So NFL, college football news. Really interesting reaction from Dave Portnoy and company at Barstool Sports. Did anybody see Bill Belichick on the sideline with Jordan Hudson before the game? Before they got whacked at UCF. We'll show it to you and some of the reaction. We got some good reaction from the Monday night game last night. Peyton Manning and Eli Manning with an hilarious exchange that happened. Funny video. They simulated what would happen when an offensive coordinator in the booth calls down to the quarterback. Very, very funny. We'll let you hear that. And we got and the Tampa Bay Rays. Sold! Finally sold. And the news out, allegedly, they're going to stay in Tampa. So we will have more on that as well. And we'll have MLB rundown. We've got only 4 games yesterday, but we've got huge series coming up. Red Sox and the Blue Jays. Sean McAdams is going to join me at 8:35 this morning from MassLive.com. We're going to talk about that and the other races going on in MLB. And Hector Longo before that at 8:05. We'll talk to him about the Patriots. And, of course, the overreaction once again. And that's what a lot of fans do. You got to look. It's a game. They should have beat Pittsburgh. They should have beaten them by 10. They left so many points on the field. It was disgusting. But they're 1-2. They get Carolina this week, coming off a 30-0 win over Atlanta. Patriots are 5.5-point favorites, if you can believe that. But they get to there. It's 2-2, and I think everybody needs to just take and for every single team. It's amazing this morning. I mean, every team, just sticking with the pay, you got to take a step back and just, it takes a little while to build this thing up. I think there's a lot of good things that are happening here. Yes, they have to clean some stuff up. There's no question about it. They can't afford two turnovers, let alone 5. On the other hand, you look at, devil's advocate. How many teams can say they're still in the game after turning the ball over 5 times and have a chance to tie the game with seconds to go? Not many. So maybe if you look at it that way, I understand the negative part of it, no question about it, and they deserve the criticism for it, particularly the running game for 3 fumbles. And the quarterback fumbling once as well, and threw a pick in the end zone that was deflected. But he also made a lot of good plays in that game. And what does it say about the defense allowing you to stay in that series, in that game with 5 turnovers? I don't think a lot of teams with 5 turnovers would have a chance to tie the game at the end like the Patriots did. So there's that. So I just want to look at it from both ways. You can have all the criticism you want, and I agree. But there's also not a lot of teams with 5 turnovers that would have a chance to win at the end of a football game like that, or at least send it into overtime. And you can talk all you want about Pop Douglas or who was at fault. Was it the throw? I think Pop Douglas needed to fall forward there instead of taking a step back. But anyway, it's over and done with. They beat Carolina on Sunday. They'll be 2-2. Same thing with the Packer fans. And heaven forbid, now I'm listening to this morning, as I always do, for like 20 minutes to the ESPN National Show in the morning, and Smalls with Chris Candy and Evan. And they have come to the conclusion that maybe the Green Bay Packers were overhyped. It's because you dummies always do this. You do it for every single team. You do it for every team after the first game, after the second game. You anoint teams in the Super Bowl. It's so fucking stupid. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I love when Canty reads his power rankings in the morning that are fed to him. And I know because I've seen the feeds. I get the same feeds. He doesn't rank those top 5 himself. They're ranked according to ESPN, and he reads them off word for word verbatim like they're his. I know the game, man. And it's going to expose you people. You're such frauds when it comes to that stuff. You're not making all that stuff up. You're not going through and refresh and looking up those numbers. You're sitting there reading off about a 12-page list of stuff that ESPN gives them every single morning to all their affiliates, by the way. You get all this stuff every single morning. That's how it works. So trust me when I'm telling you, some of that kind of top 5 power rankings, he still has Green. I don't know if Green Bay is the 5th best team overall. I have no idea right now. Who the hell knows? After the Lions played last night, I'd pick them at number 1. Who knows? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are undefeated, but they're banged up. They're a mash unit right now. But still fun to watch. The 49ers are winning with Mac Jones. He had a funny freaking ridiculous answer to his interception that almost cost him the game late over Arizona last weekend. But we got a lot to talk about. We welcome in the one and only Angel Martinez up in the Tampa area. Good morning, Angel. How are you?
Good morning, Senor Peter. I'm good. And if anybody's expecting for fall down here, you can say goodbye to it, at least for a little bit. In the 90s, we're about to hit 99 today. Feels like temperature of 110 here in the Tampa region. So, yeah, there's that. But other than that, yeah, we know now.
Fall happened. Fall took place yesterday afternoon, I believe, at 2:21 p.m.
Sure did.
So we are officially a hint of autumn. And there has been cooler breezes in the afternoon, even though it's been in the high 80s over here in Fort Myers and low 90s for that matter. But the humidity, at least, is down to like 55%. So another couple of weeks, Angel, we'll be able to open the doors again and let the cool breeze come in. But hey, other places it'll start snowing next week, so I'm not complaining. I never will. I don't care. I don't care. So anyway, last night, big game, and the Lions went in and really just took it to them in the trenches, manhandled Baltimore in a lot of ways. I know it was close. The scoring was back and forth. High-scoring game like I thought it would be. By the way, I did have the Lions last night on my pigskin picks plus 4.5. However, Angel, you want the good news or the bad news in my pigskin picks from last week?
Let's go with the bad news first.
Bad news is a horrific 4-11-1 record. And in 3 of the games, I got screwed by a half a point or a point. But it doesn't matter. It's for when I pick the games against. So 4-11-1, that's the bad news. The good news is my college football went 3-2, and my best bet of the week was the Miami Hurricanes over the Florida Gators. That one, my underdog of the week, did not win, which was the Patriots plus 1.5 because they left a gazillion points on the field. But so this week and next week are free on me, which I'll have my Mexican picks on Friday. All right. So you heard the call last night. Let's get to some of the, and then I'm going to show you that play, that video of Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, that video. But before that, it was a very, very entertaining game. Detroit and Baltimore last night in Baltimore. Let's see. Let me do this in some sort of a respectable order. Here is let's go right out of the gate here. Detroit get us on the board first.
Gibbs, touchdown. What a good start for the Lions.
7-0 in the first quarter, and let's now go to still in the first quarter. Here comes Derrick Henry.
And Sheppard.
Easy pickup. Forget first down. How about touchdown? There is a flag on the far side of the field.
Touchdowns which stand at 7-7. Off to the second quarter we go. Detroit takes the lead.
Goff on 2nd and goal. Montgomery gets it, and no call. They're saying he's short. Now the other official says touchdown.
Of course he does. Jesus Christ.
The near official said he didn't get it. The far official came in.
Yeah, it ended up being a touchdown. So it's 14-7 Detroit. We still in the second quarter.
Book.
Play action. And touchdown Ravens. Bateman.
All right, and now we head to the third quarter. It's 14-14 at halftime. To the third quarter we go. It's the Ravens with the lead.
Number 2 in the league to Baker Mayfield, and now on third down, Andrews, diving catch, touchdown Ravens.
Yes, but here comes Jared Goff and the Lions as we stay in the third quarter.
St. Brown in motion. Goff for St. Brown. He is there, and he's got it. Touchdown Detroit. What a throw and catch. Working against Marlon Humphrey, and we're an extra point away from a tie game.
Yeah, this is Jared Goff just at the top of his game. One, an excellent route by Amon-Ra St. Brown. Double move on Marlon Humphrey. So Goff isn't so much worried about St. Brown winning on the route. He's got to hold Hamilton. The safety, is watching as well. And he has to hold him to keep him from going over the top. He does that perfectly and then throws a great ball.
Oh, yes. And then let's continue. Now we're in the fourth quarter. Derrick Henry.
Starts with the 21 down by 4. Hand off to Henry. And he gets it punched out. It's recovered by DJ Reed. Knocked out on the play by Aiden Hutchinson. And it's yet.
Yeah, an unbelievable 2 games in a row with a fumble for King Henry there. It's 28-24 Detroit at the time, and they would not let up.
They're built.
Now Montgomery, he's going to break. David Montgomery is in for the touchdown.
That made it 38-24. The Ravens did come back with a touchdown of their own. Actually, I forgot to play that. This is a great play. This made the score 28-21 Detroit.
They pitch to Gibbs. Touchdown.
All right. The Baltimore Ravens would score again in the fourth.
Jackson backpedaling. Andrews wide open, one-on-one, and he'll take it in, his second of the night.
All right, the video I wanted to show you, though, was the opening statement that I played, the opening clip about the 4th and 1 and onions. And, Angel, if we could scroll down, and it's under awful announcing, you'll see he's got big onions. And this was an incredibly bold move. Again, 1:55 to go. It's 4th and 1 for the Lions. They're leading 31-24. And Dan Campbell does it again. They finished 3 for 3 on 4th down conversions last night.
From Dan Campbell, not surprised. He's got big onions. I mean, this is a bold move. Even with a first down, they cannot run out the clock because the Ravens still have all 3 timeouts.
Montgomery in the backfield on 4th and 2. Goff keeps, floats. Amon-Ra, perfect throw and catch. Unreal. But a flag is down back at the 50. Here's the call.
Holding. Defense number 44. Penalties decline. Result of the play is first down.
Troy, how
From Dan Campbell, not
Wow, what a ballsy move by Dan Campbell. This is what he does. This is what the Lions do. And once again, they converted right there. After the game, Dan Campbell on that call.
Man, I got a tremendous amount of trust in those guys, and that's been built up now in 5 years, right? And that helps. And that offensive line, the way they were playing, and it just felt like that was the right call. And it's those guys, it's the players, man. They're the ones who make this stuff come to life, and they've earned that trust. You know, and they just, once again, man, they step up and make huge plays at critical times, and it's unbelievable. It really is. It's a thing of beauty, man.
One more real.
All right, here's more from Dan Campbell on the importance of the win in Baltimore.
The cream of the crop over there in the AFC, you know, with a few teams, and so to be able to come in here on a Monday night at their place with those weapons, that type of team, that's a good win for us, you know. I don't know, statement, all this and that, but it just feels good to know against a type of team like that, you play a different type of game and you're able to find a way to win. So one of the things I mentioned early in this year is I told the team I want to find out how many different ways we can win games, you know, because the better you get at winning, the more you win. So that took everything we had, and I was proud of the players.
The better you get at winning, Angel Martinez, the more you win. Write that down.
Okay, I personally like our friend down here in Dolphins world.
Oh, we'll get to him later, yeah. He had some doozies yesterday. We'll get to that. Well, at least Dan Campbell wins. Here's John Harbaugh, head coach of the Ravens after the loss.
Hard-fought game. Hats off to the Lions. They did the things they needed to do to win the game, and our guys fought. But we didn't do the things we needed to do to win the game. We got some things we need to get better at, things we're going to be disappointed in when we watch that tape, things we got to get better at. Our focus right now has got to be toward Kansas City, and that's what we're going to do. Get ready for that game and get ready to go play it. What question do you have?
All right, here's Lamar Jackson after the team falling to a 1-2.
I feel like week 1 was a wake-up call. You know, not just this loss. Week 1 was a wake-up call. Last week was a wake-up call, you know, because we started off slow last week, and you know, we got beat tonight. So Lions had a great game plan. I feel like offense and defense for those guys played great. We just got to find a way to win.
Got to find a way to win. More from Lamar.
I feel like the way we performed was a huge hole, but you know, it's still the beginning of the season. You got a lot of work to do, and you just got to execute.
Kyle Hamilton, final cut here, says no excuse for the Ravens at all.
Definitely not where we wanted to be. No excuses can be made at this point. If it's not one thing, it's another, and it's kind of like we just got to patch everything up right now. Can't just take it for granted. Our run defense, it's been pretty good the whole time I've been here. But when a team runs the ball like that, it just demoralizes you more than passing the ball. They're challenging you mentally, physically, so it's on us as a defense just to put that fire out ASAP, and we didn't do that.
All right. No, they did not, and that'll be an interesting game next week when Baltimore takes on Kansas City. The Chiefs with that ugly win against the Giants because I don't have Danny Dimes, and Russell Wilson was just god awful last week, and we'll see. We'll get to that. We got some good video with that from the Pat McAfee show yesterday from overreacting, which I don't think they're overreacting, Giant fans that tweeted in very Very funny stuff. We'll get to that. Matt LaFleur, head coach of the Green Bay Packers, he didn't appreciate any talk last week about his team aiming for an undefeated season. Now, again, I blame some of the people on ESPN for that. They're the ones talking that fucking nonsense. It's after week 2. It's so stupid. It is so stupid. Since the Patriots did it in 2007 and won all those games in a row, before losing in the Super Bowl, unfortunately, to the Giants. But since then, you go back and listen to some of these national nitwits, and to a degree, some of the local teams, local affiliates. And it's like everybody wants to anoint some team from 2008 all the way to 2025. After 2 games, you want to anoint, or 3 games, you want to say, oh, can they go undefeated? Stop it. Please. It is so annoying. It's ridiculous. Yep. You want to talk about that stuff? Wait till like week 14, okay? Wait till a team's like 13-0 or 14-0, and maybe I'll start paying attention to it. Until then, shut up. Stop it. Matt LaFleur says also what I just said. Shut up.
Well, I just think this league is such a week-to-week league, and you can never lose sight of that. And you can't take any moment, any game for granted. And the goal, and I've said it a million times to you guys, I don't think I've obviously said it enough to our team, the goal is to go 1-0 every week. And it pisses me off when we start talking about things outside of the next game, things that are way down the road. Like, keep the focus on the present, on the now, and worry about getting better each and every day.
Yeah, that's just it. Try to go 1-0 every week. I know it's cliche. I know it's not a sexy statement to say, but that's all it is. That's how I look at it. It is so absolutely ridiculous when people start talking about this nonsense and all these ridiculous, stupid, idiotic projections. And all it takes is a couple of major injuries that have happened, and you saw it. What happened on Sunday? Nick Bosa tore the same ACL on that knee, the same one he did last year, a couple of years ago. He's out, and I think he's going to have to consider retiring. Unfortunately for the 49ers. He's out for the year. And Chargers running back Najee Harris is out for the season with a torn ACL as well. So, yes, the Chargers are 3-0. Yes, the 49ers have won 2 games with Mac Jones at quarterback. But, it's only week 3. We're heading into week 4. Things can change on a dime, and health is so important. By the way, here's Mac Jones. This has gone viral on his awkward post-game interview talking about his interception.
I threw it right to the guy, so it wasn't like he made a good play. I mean, good for him. He caught it, awesome. But it was the technically second part of my read, and I took a hitch to it and ripped it. I don't know. And he was standing right there, so I just got to get off of it. And I had an outlet down the sideline. That would have been my second part of the read. So could definitely do that, or just throw it over his head and maybe play 4th down, or whatever. Try and kick a field goal. I know it was pretty far at that point. But yeah, never want to do that, but at the end of the day, I did rip it and committed to my throw, so I won't take that one back.
I go listen to these cuts, Angel, I start around 5:15 in the morning going through, or 5:30, whenever I get them. Start going through all and did you hear in your headset? When I'm listening to someone, 3 times I turned around because it sounded like somebody was standing behind me, and it's just the way the microphone was set up, and I was like, fuck, is there ghosts in here? I swear to God, I took my headphones off. I'm like, is there a gecko in the house that I don't see? And then even when I replayed the cut, I did it again. And I'm like, sometimes it just sounds creepy.
It does. I thought that something fell in the room. That's why you looked over. But yeah, I did hear it.
All right, if we could scroll down, it should be right under the show. Ryan Clark, who I'm not a huge fan of these days because everything is race baiting with him. But after the game, he and SVP Scott Van Pelt on ESPN talked about the state of the Ravens and to a degree the state of the Lions after that game.
And it's got to leave Baltimore really wondering who we are right now.
Scott, you said it to Amon-Ra St. Brown. We all picked the Baltimore Ravens. Yep. And it wasn't a knock on the Detroit Lions. I heard a interview that John Harbaugh did at the beginning of the season, and he said people who are saying Super Bowl or bust are silly. But we're not, because that should be the sense of urgency in this locker room when you have one of the best players in the game, when you have a stacked roster. You should be focused on the minute details that win you championships, and we didn't see that tonight. Nope. You know who we saw it from? The Detroit Lions. We saw it in their blocking scheme. We saw it in their physicality. We saw it in the way that David Montgomery ran the football. You saw it in the attention to detail in the rush lanes. The Baltimore Ravens, even though their roster says championship, right now their execution says home in the wild card round, home in the divisional playoffs. What I've seen tonight is the difference in between two teams who are squeezing and straining to win football games. The Detroit Lions believe that this is their year. The season didn't start the way they wanted it to start, and now they are trying to fix it. The Baltimore Ravens right now are a 1-2 football team that have only beaten the Cleveland Browns.
Okay.
So take that. And again, much like the Patriots in a lot of ways, the Ravens, they had a field goal, made it 28-24. Ravens get a defensive stop, and then boom, the next play or the second in that play is when Derrick Henry fumbled. And that essentially was the ball game. Gave Detroit the ball at the Baltimore 16. And still Detroit couldn't put the game away. They got a field goal there on the drive that had a face mask penalty on Christian Hogany there. Was big, but it didn't matter. They went on to win 38-30. The Lions did over the Ravens last night. First time they've ever won in Baltimore. All right, let's scroll down a couple, Angel, to Bussin' with the Boys. This is Peyton Manning and Eli Manning last night. The game was 21-14. Baltimore up on the third quarter at the time, but the boys decided to simulate a hilarious rendition of what happens between an offensive coordinator and the quarterback after a play, a touchdown.
All right, I'm Todd Monken, offensive coordinator up in the press box. I'm calling down to talk to my quarterback, Lamar Jackson, after this drive. This is how these conversations go between a coordinator and a quarterback.
What's up, Coach Monk?
Lamar, great drive there. Listen, good job setting your feet. They brought that corner blitz on you. They're going to bring it again. Let's have our eyes alert on that corner blitz. Okay, what are you seeing down there?
Yeah, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it well. I saw the alerts. You know, it's pretty obvious when they're playing man. You know, I wouldn't mind if we got to like a two-jet all-go hinge. Just let me rip a hinge out there. If they play press, I'll throw it deep to my boy, to Zay.
Okay, Lamar, just a reminder, I'm the offensive coordinator. I call the plays. I'll tell you the plays we're going to run. Hey, we are going to come back with three-jet Aggie. Read it out. And remember, if we have cover one, look for Hopkins on the outside. We like the matchup. And I want to get to that slip screen.
Hey, hold up one sec. I got another call. I got a call waiting. Hold on.
There's no.
Hello?
Excuse me?
Hey, who is it? Oh,
Lamar.
What's up? Hey, what's going on? Yeah, no, I'm not doing
how it's supposed to
nothing.
work.
Yeah, I got time. I got time to chat to you.
Lamar.
Yeah. A burrito? Yeah, I'll take two. Utah, two. Hit me.
I hope they blitz your ass next series.
Okay, let me see. I'll go back to him. Wait up. I'll call you back.
That's not how it's supposed to work.
Mark, you there?
No, I'm out.
You there? All right.
I'm out.
All right. Good talk. Yeah.
Very, very funny. Oh, very, very funny stuff. Angel, if we could scroll down, I want to get to Mike Vrabel yesterday and Karen Garrigan. We're going to get on the show, and she always asks the first question, and we'll and his response. It's down away. It's under the Florida State Miami story, which I'll get to in a second. It's under
Mike Reese.
Mike Reese, yeah. Now, before you play it, hang on one second. I do want to say that longtime Patriots coach and personnel executive Bobby Greer, one of the nicest people I've ever met in my profession, going on close to 39 years now. Just a great guy. His son Chris is the GM of the Miami Dolphins. His other son is in a management position, GM of the San Jose Sharks, by the way. But Bobby was a great guy, strong ties with the Patriots, obviously, a man of incredible integrity, passed away yesterday at the age of 82. And he will be missed. Okay, Mike Vrabel arrives yesterday, and the big question is about Ramondre Stevenson and ball security.
Hey. Good morning. Good morning. Sure.
Mike.
How are you?
After a night to ruminate on things and also watch film, do you have a better idea how you might handle Ramondre Stevenson and the fumbling issue?
Well, we got to continue to practice the crap out of it. We also have to do a better job of protecting said person with the ball, whether that's the quarterback, whether that's the running back, or the receiver. And we're all responsible for the security of the football, and it starts with the person who has it, and then it falls on the people that are blocking. And again, we'll continue to rep it, and if we have to put two hands on the football, and when we're going through there, that's what we'll have to do. The only thing I know how to do is to continue to practice it and work it, but then also, maybe it's not so much the person that you see, it's the one you don't see.
Well, I mean, that's all well and good. I understand that. Look, of course, I'm sure they've coached. Even Gerard Mayo, others have coached him. Put two hands on the ball. He tried to switch hands the other day in the first fumble. It's just, I don't know. I don't know if you can teach stupid, and it's been happened. It happens way too much. Either you're a fumbler or you're a go-getter. We saw the potential, the 1-10 game where he's had against Miami, where he was absolutely outstanding, mostly catching the football than running it. But I can't stand it. I mean, you can coach all you want. I mean, I think they've tried everything possible. I'm not willing to give this guy another chance. He's had 4 or 5 opportunities now over the last 2 years. I'm done. And it's going to be really interesting to see how they use him. I do think they're going to say, despite what some of the pundits say out there, some of them who just throw shit against the wall and say, like, Travion Henderson can't be the main back. The Patriots haven't had a main back since Corey Dillon. I don't care about who gets the touches. I just care about not turning the ball over. So Gibson had an unfortunate fumble as well. And Travion Henderson, I think we're going to see more touches out of him, both running the football and catching the football, despite what some may say. Hey, he may get 15 touches a game, both through the run and the air, and Gibson might get 12 or whatever. And then if you keep Stevenson, I don't know, maybe he gets 2. He only had 2 plays. He was only in the game for 2 plays after the second fumble. 2 plays too many. All right, more from Mike Vrabel yesterday on WEI. Jokingly reminded Julian Edelman that the halftime is only 13 minutes, and he was in the locker room. He was inducted along with Bill Parcells into the Patriots Hall of Fame on Saturday.
You enjoy Saturday?
Oh, yeah. That was really nice. Yeah, that was well done. That was both of those guys. I told Jules before the game, I saw him as I was walking out. I said, hey, remember, halftime's only 13 minutes, okay? So if you get a speech, halftime's only 13 minutes.
I was like,
but it was really, I thought both of them did a really good job.
All right, here's what we're going to do, Angel. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, I got some great video for you. Dave Portnoy and company talking about Bill Belichick on the sideline with Jordan Hudson, and it was just uncomfortable to watch. And then he went out and got their asses kicked at UCF. And also, we'll tell you, we're going to hear from Mike McDaniel. We're going to hear from Mario Cristobal. Been tell you about the U and Florida State coming up a week from Saturday. It looks like College Game Day is going to be there again in Tallahassee in what is going to be the biggest game in the state of Florida in quite some time, assuming Florida State wins this weekend against Virginia. And that will set up the 2 undefeated, the second-ranked Hurricanes right now, and what the 7th-ranked Seminoles or 8th-ranked Seminoles. But they could move up if they win. We've got that. We've got some more college football news to tell you, some college basketball news as well. Bruce Pearl is retiring as the head coach at Auburn. And a whole lot more. And a great guest coming up today as well. Hector Longo at 8:05 from the Eagle Tribune. Sean McAdam from MassLive.com at 8:30. We'll go into the Red Sox and Blue Jays and the MLB pennant races. All part of the Pete Sheppard Show today on a Tuesday. Hang on a second, Angel.
Sure.
Phil Castanetti, Sports World in Saugus, Mass. is New England's place to buy or sell the finest in sports memorabilia. For over 35 years, Sports World has offered the finest in sports collectibles. So get on down there. Phil Castanetti, Sports World at 184 Broadway in Saugus. Call 781-233-7222 for more information. 781-233-7222 for more information. Sports World in Saugus. Be there. Also, for the best articles in audio, there's only one source you need that provides everything. 365 days a year to satisfy your sports crave. It's Total Sports Prep. The staff combing through the best articles in audio so you don't have to. The sports and non-sports kicker stories will leave you laughing all day long. To get your free trial of Total Sports Prep, contact them, info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com, info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. Total Sports Prep, the name says it all. Angel, before we go to break, and if we could, or get it ready while we're going to break, go on my Facebook page, if you can, please. And my good friend, John Lincoln Pearson, JLP, my good friend from when I first moved to Narragansett, Rhode Island in the middle of 6th grade, and still remain good friends. We don't see each other all that often anymore because I'm down here and he's up there, but posted a picture, sent me a picture yesterday of me and a bunch of my close friends in 8th grade. Don't put it up there yet, but you'll see it. It'll say Blast from the Past. And when we come back, I will tell you a short story. We like stories behind all of that. All right, it is the Pete Sheppard Show here on a terrific Tuesday on the Coastal Sports Digital Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Hey everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The Pete Sheppard Show. It's fun for the whole family, if it's dysfunctional.
The cream of the crop over there in the AFC, with a few teams. And so to be able to come in here on a Monday night at their place with those weapons, that type of team, that's a good win for us, I don't know, statement, all this and that, but it just feels good to know against a type of team like that, you play a different type of game and you're able to find a way to win. So one of the things I mentioned early in this year is I told the team I want to find out how many different ways we can win games, because the better you get at winning, the more you win. So that took everything we had, and I was proud of the players.
The better we get at winning, the more ways we can win. Yes. Very profound. Another fortune cookie type of message from an NFL coach. Welcome back to the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Digital Network. How is today on this terrific Tuesday? Beautiful day here. Not even 24 hours into fall here on this great planet of ours, or at least in the United States of America. By the way, we are big all over the world as well. Australia, hello. Kazakhstan, hello. Spain, Italy. I mean, we're big in every country in Europe, right? All over the place.
Prague. Sure are.
Prague, that's right. Prague, hello.
Yeah, we're fancy now.
Yeah. Still see those fish in the street from the first Mission Impossible movie when Tom Cruise blew up the restaurant window.
Exactly.
And all the fish flew out onto the street. Those beautiful tropical fish. Have not been to Prague, but I want to go. Belarus, hello. Stop blocking our Facebook music. Other than that, Russia, hello. Same thing. Same message for you. Stop blocking our Facebook music. Hasn't happened in a while, though.
It's
But anyway, nevertheless, they're listening.
Yeah.
All right. As promised, we got a lot to cram in here. Let us scroll. Let's see. Where did we?
Wait. Aren't we doing the picture thing?
Oh, yes. Okay, so yeah, throw the picture up there.
Okay.
This is hysterical. Yeah, just make sure it's just a picture.
Yeah. No.
Not that it matters. I mean, there's nothing. I don't. If those of you can't figure it out, I don't ever do anything political at all, one way or the other. We make fun of all politicians here from time to time on the show, but even that, I just stay away from it. It's not worth it. I don't care. It just spews hate, and I don't want to do that on the show. So. Get this. This is from Circa. This is Narragansett Junior Senior High School, but this is obviously, I went to Bishop Hendricken High School. I left after 8th grade, but these are friends that I've had forever. And a couple of them I haven't seen in quite some time, but I cannot tell you. And I've always thought this, and maybe never really got to say it to my friend. It was very difficult more so for my sister, I think, because I do think boys and girls are different. I knew one kid down there when we moved from Warwick to Narragansett, which was only 35 minutes away, but it was 1979, and it was in the middle of 6th grade. That's a difficult age, I think, for most kids to move. Now, my friend Dean Carlone had lived right near me in the same town. He had moved down to Narragansett with his family about a year earlier, so at least I knew him. But I didn't know anybody except my 6th grade teacher at the time at Drum Rock Elementary. This is going to be a sentimental story, but I don't care. It's my show. It's my 6th grade teacher at the time at Drum Rock Elementary School, which does not exist anymore, which used to be the elementary school before you went to Windman Junior High and then Tollgate High School. all great schools. Anyway, she had told me that when she found I was moving to Narragansett, that how wonderful the kids were down there. And of course, I'm 12. I take that with a grain of salt. My sister's 11. Anyway, we moved down there in the middle of 6th grade. And I remember we moved on January 3rd, 1979, and started school like 2 days after, because it was a Saturday. I think we started that Monday. I started school that Monday on January 5th, and walked into Mr. Westcott's class, my 6th grade teacher. And I'll never forget it, Angel, because I knew the man. And his second job in the off season, like many teachers had, he was the pool manager at a place that my family happened to belong to at Quinessa Country Club. So I knew him. He was a wonderful man. And I walk in, and then, you just felt a whole sense of comfortness. I was like, oh my God, I know this man. And I'm scared to death. My heart is racing. And, back then, you put up a center lead. This is Peter, coming to us, and he's going to join it. And this is the crazy thing. I remember seeing the guys in the picture, which I'll explain in a second here. And why I'm telling you this, I just feel like I have to get this off my chest. And it's a good story.
Sure.
The first person that I looked around, I saw John, and then about two rows to his left, and this is when you sat in those chairs with the desk, and that you had, it was like a onesie. Remember onesie seat with the table, right?
Yeah.
Flat top. And so I see John, and everybody was smiling. Everybody was smiling, and it made me feel very comfortable. And I looked 2 rows over from my friend John Pearson, who you see here. This is from a shot. This was red and white day, 8th grade, mind you, 8th grade. So he always used to wear this Boston University shirt all the time. It was like the only thing he had, red and white. Now, ironically, our school colors, the junior high, again, I went to a different high school where I was gold and green, but in junior high, the colors were red and white. Same with Narragansett High School. So all of us you see in that picture are on the basketball team in 8th grade, except for John Hickey, you can see his face being smushed. I'll get to that in a second. Anyway, getting back, so I see John, and then I look over to 2 rows over, and I might have drooled. I think there's this girl, I won't say her last name. Her name was Andrea L. And you know that scene in Forrest Gump? And obviously I'm 12. We're 12 years old. We're not 8 and 9 or whatever. Remember when Forrest Gump first goes onto the bus and sees, what's her name? What was her character name?
Crap.
Oh my God, Jesus.
Yeah, but
and he's like, and he just had that stun look. That's how I was. I mean, you talk about like getting. I was like, oh my God, that is the prettiest girl I've ever seen in my life. That's all I could. And I was like, I mean, I don't think I talked to her for a year because I was so shy back then. But anyway, everybody was so nice. And so the picture right here is John Pearson on my left, is on the left there, from left to right, sticking his little head in there. He was not a basketball player. He was a good athlete. He was a good baseball player. Was my buddy John. Then there's Mike England. And then there's me. Look at that unbelievable bald-headed haircut that I had. Very sexy at the time. This is 1980, 81. Before we get to the front row, there is Chris Poirier, Christopher, a.k.a. Toph. His nickname was always Toph, T-O-P-H. Like, nobody called him Christopher or Chris. It was Toph. And he was a great athlete. We were on the same baseball team together for a while. And yeah, Toph, I was on base. I credit me. I was on base in Little League when we were 12 for all 3 of your home runs that you hit that year, including the Grand Slam. I'm happy to say I got on base for all 3 of those. Anyway, he was, I hadn't even, for some reason, we took like a 5-minute break in class, right? Before anything ever happened, Toph comes up to me and goes, okay, you're going to be a 31. Now, apparently, in this 6th grade class, right, they split us up into 31s and 32s. I don't know what that meant at the time. I never heard of that. I don't know what it was. It had nothing to do with intelligence or anything like that. It was strictly, this half of 6th grade is going to be 31s, and this half of 6th grade is 32. He's like, you're going to be a 31. I'm like, yeah. He goes, "Do you play sports?" I go, "Yeah." I said, you know, he said, how good? Then we go to recess, right? He goes, "You're a 31." We go outside. This is like, I don't even know anybody except he introduced himself. John Pearson introduced himself. In that picture, by the way, let me get through this. Come on, because my head's like going crazy right now.
Sure.
So John Pearson is the first one with the Boston University shirt on. Then we have multiple friends always say he wore too much. Then John Hickey sticking his little face in there. Mike England, myself with the incredible sexy bowl cut. Chris Topher, and in the front is David Caprio, which I've taught to. That's the late, great Judge Frank Caprio's son, and he was in my class in junior high. We went to Hendricken together. Frank, his brother, was a year older than us as well. But that's David. That's the judge's son, David, and my good friend right in front of us. And we're all really, really close. So anyway, before I could even blink, we go to recess outside, and it's freezing out. And it's like, I mean, like one of those cold Northeast January days, like 5 degrees, all bundled up, right? Except for, I guess they always played football at halftime. And it wasn't like 11-on-11 football. It was like 20-on-20 football.
Jeez.
So Pope comes up to me, and he's like, can you do you like sports? I said, yeah, I love sport. He says, can you throw a football? I said, yeah, I can throw a football. So he goes, show me. So before we start picking teams and everything, I get hike the ball. Toph goes running out. I throw a dart. I mean, maybe one of the greatest throws I've ever thrown in my life. About 30 yards, boom, nail him. Pete's going to be the quarterback. The new kid's going to be the quarterback, blah, blah. Unbeknownst to me, all right, so we start playing, and you only have now we only have 15, 20 minutes at recess. It's like 5 fucking degrees outside. And I'm like, I don't know who to throw to. I really don't know who to throw to because I'm not sure because we're all bundled up. We don't have different jerseys on or anything like that. I don't know who to throw to. I sort of knew how to throw to. I'm like, okay, I'll throw to that kid because I saw him in my room. Maybe I can kind of read of where, because of where everybody was lined up. There was like 20-on-20, like 3 kids blocked, and there's like 18 kids coming after me. So I'm like throwing basic like Hail Marys. I don't even know. Anyway, we get past that, and anyway, it's just a funny story. We all became very close friends, but I will never forget the kindness that the girls and boys all came up and introduced themselves to me, and it really, really made me, and it made my sister, who was in 5th grade at the time, I think feel a lot more comfortable. And we all became excellent friends. And right there you see, besides John, all of us were on the basketball team. At one point, I think that was like the starting 5 right there for a little while anyway, or at least in practice. But all, pretty good athletes in our day. And we all got along, and it was really, really, they were just the nicest bunch of friends you could ever have. And to move in the middle of 6th grade or something. And my sister, Andrea, who was in 5th grade, she unfortunately comes down with mono. And I think it happened in March. And of course, the school year goes until June. It's either March or April. And that was unfortunate because she has to now, only been in school there for a couple of months. She has to stay home for whatever it was, a month, I think, or maybe even more. I can't remember. I know since it's not a contagious thing, unless she had her friend Stacy would come over and stay overnight many, many times with her and go over homework. They were in the same class and everything else. And then one day, as I was getting to waiting for the bus, my sister's whole class from 5th grade, and I'll never forget her name, I'll say it, I hope she's still with us, Monica Schaefer, Miss Schaefer. She marched the whole class, which we were only about a mile from the elementary school at the time, not the junior high, which was also very close.
Right.
She marched the whole elementary school class down to in front of our townhouse in Narragansett, which is across from the beach, and started singing outside my sister's bedroom window, all sorts of feel-good type of songs. And I just remember my mother was bawling. I was like, who does that? We haven't been there all that time. It was really something. It really was to see that happen, and it blew my mind. But that's the kind of town I was fortunate enough to grow up with. Great people. We all got along. Everybody dated everybody. On the whole, it was kind of fun. And between the beach and oh my God, I can't tell you, my phone would ring off the hook every single morning. It started at 8:30.
Right.
How are the waves? How are the waves? I mean, like the same 7 or 8 people every single day in summer vacation. This was before I got my first job, because I did work from in fact, it was the end of that, right in the middle of that summer that I ended up getting my first dishwashing job at a restaurant right across the street. But I cannot tell you, we were on the beach every single day. I was, at least, from 8:45 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon. Every single day. It was the same people every single day. And I mean like 40 of us that were there every single day. And it didn't matter. We all went to Joe's hot dog stand every single day, spent our $2 on Fanta grape soda and a couple of dogs. And we all just got along. It was great. It was a great way to grow up with a bunch of kids. And even though the irony was I was going to, we moved from Warwick to Narragansett, good. And then when I said I wanted to go to Hendricken and then got accepted, my dad said, I can't believe we moved from Warwick to Narragansett just so you can drive 45 minutes all the way back to Warwick to go to high school. And then we laughed about it. That was the case. But anyway, I can't stress enough, ever, there'll always be like family to me. All those kids in Narragansett that made me feel way back in the day so welcome. It's something I will never forget. And I know my sister feels the same way. She made a lot of close friends over the years. And it to this day still sticks. So. A long time.
A couple things, and like you say, we don't get political around here, but and I'll kind of go around it. But have you ever watched a show Saved by the Bell?
Yeah, I didn't care for it. I thought it was beyond stupid. I was a Brady Bunch guy, Gilligan's Island. When Saved by the Bell came on, I tried it, and I was a little bit past that. I hated it. I hated all of them.
Now the only reason why I say it because your friend with the Boston shirt reminds me of Screech.
Oh yeah, John. Yep.
So then, the other thing is, are you guys going is anybody going back to their high school reunion?
These are my junior high, except for David. David, I think, is going to. We have my high school reunions coming up next month, which I'll be taking a couple of days off, going up to Bishop Hendricken. My 40th anniversary, 40th high school reunion. I've never been to any of the reunions because I've never been able to get there, but I'm going up for my 40th. It's a Friday night. Yes, Miami plays Louisville that night, and I'll be watching. But we got a football game to attend to as well. My high school is a big production on Friday and Saturday. So I'm headed up there. I'm pretty sure David is going to be there as well. I'd be very shocked if he's not. He's a great attorney and up there in Rhode Island. So I'm sure I'll get to see him for the first time in a while. We talked to him on the phone a couple years ago when he called us at the Super Bowl.
Right.
In Vegas. But yeah, so no, and I'm sure Narragansett's having their 40th reunion as well, as anybody my age at 58 years old. Every high school, if you graduated in 85, you're having your 40th reunion, whether you can make it or not. And I'm happy to say that I can make this one. So yes, very happy about that.
The only reason why I bring that up as well, because it'd be really cool if, I'm pretty sure there's guys who moved out of the area, but for those who are still in the area, if you guys can kind of somewhat recreate the picture and then obviously then morph it from back in the day to now, I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, John would have to do that. I mean, I could get pictures of, that's Mike. I can't find Mike on Facebook. I hope Mike is still with us. Mike England, great guy, very quiet, but man, good pitcher, good basketball player. And I will say in junior high basketball, he and I were unstoppable in the 2-on-1 drill. Absolutely. It was like Jordan and Bird. It was sick, I must say.
But the last thing I want to bring up, because, we talk about, again, we don't ever bring up politics, but how funny is it that whether you moved or someone new came into the school, there was never, ever the thing where, oh, he looks different, she looks different. The only thing was like the awkward moment that when you go to meet that person, like, let's go talk to him. Like it isn't anything like the way it is today, which was, I thought, for us growing up and, that age, that it was cool when you went to a brand new school, you had to meet people, especially when you transitioned to high school. That was a big one because, the other ones have already been there for 3 years. One's getting ready to graduate because it's their senior year. But I just thought it was the coolest thing because we went, my sister and I, in Philly, obviously had, which at the time was, I want to say it was like 90%, Caucasian folks over there. Mm-hmm. We never got the side eye or anything else because everybody mixed in. It was just a big mixed blend of people, and I just thought it was much cooler back in the day, I guess, than what it is today. But that's a really good picture that someone sent, and that was a great memory moment you talked about. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was. I'll see what I can do to get the. I mean, you've seen me. I mean, everybody knows what I look like now. But and everybody and David's a lot taller now. Obviously, he was a hell of a. Dave was a fucking little. He was a great point guard. He really was. And John. I mean, we had some really really good times, I must say, as well. All right. We're not going to take a break here. So I want to let's get back into reality here. I want to scroll down to. Let's see. You got to see this from. Where the hell is it? Is it from? Yeah, it's under what we. It's under the Mike Vrabel, under Mike Reese's Mike Vrabel. This is John Gruden on Jordan Hudson with David Portnoy and Greg Olson on. I'm pretty sure it's Barstool Sports. Now listen to this on what they start talking about here on John Gruden, on Jordan Hudson being on the UNC sideline. I think he echoes what a lot of people are feeling.
Oh, hang on, I gotta switch. Here we go.
Belichick. We got to talk Belichick. So they get slammed by UCF. They've played two real teams now, and they've gotten hammered by both of them. What everybody is talking about is his girlfriend Jordan, who's on the sidelines before the game, and they're having a little chat session here in close, sweet nothings. You guys have both played football for a long, long time. Have you ever seen the girlfriend or the wife? I don't remember seeing it on the sidelines in this situation. They're warming up, ready to go to the game. Greg, like, what is going on here to my guy?
I don't know, but did you guys see the AI that somebody did where it turned into like a full-on like hug? Did you guys see that?
It wasn't
clip?
just a hug. It was a make-out. She straddled him. I think a gentleman by the name of PFT commenter may have posted it.
He did post it. I don't know who made it, but I might have laughed. It was actually, I thought, pretty funny. Yeah, you know, listen, I think in today's college world, I think there's all sorts of stuff that a lot of us are not used to seeing. Who's on the sideline, who runs programs, who has say into programs, the influence. Listen, I don't think Belichick necessarily cares what anybody thinks. I think Belichick's going to do his thing. I think he's going to have who he wants on the sideline, who he doesn't want on the sideline. He obviously values her opinion in a lot of factors.
Football?
Do I care if a coach's wife, girlfriend, kids are on the sideline before, during, after a game? I don't necessarily care. But I guess to each their own. You know, at the end of the day, if you win, you can bring your whole family on the sideline. You can give them. She could wear a headset if they were winning, right? Like at the end of the day, you are going to bring controversy. You are going to bring eyeballs and criticism when you lose. And when you lose, everything's a big deal.
So, Coach, here's the thing. I followed the Patriots, and this was the ultimate no distraction guy. Don't talk to the media. Don't do anything that gets the people talking. Well, they're talking, and they're losing by 30. Have you ever had, and we've met your lovely wife, you have her drawing whiteboard plays. Has she ever been on the sidelines before a game?
Well, actually, she called the game winner against the Ravens on Monday Night Football a couple of years ago. She came down on the field and helped me through a tough situation. It was an all-out blitz, and she told me to go with 58 Surge. So thank God she saved the day that day. But I've never seen anything like that. You know, Mike Lombardi works for North Carolina. I've heard him criticize me several times. I'm sure he'll produce a TikTok today explaining exactly what was going on there.
I love John Gruden. And this, though, the rumors keep heating up that he could end up being given a great shot to be the next head coach for the Florida Gators. All right, let's see if we can get one more video in, Angel.
You've been hanging around Florida a lot, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Let's scroll up to ML football. And imagine turning ESPN on and hearing this. So this is this is right under the Ryan Clark thing, but this is under the Pat McAfee show yesterday. And some Giant fans are unhappy with the situation going on in Jersey.
To the next overreaction, AJ. This is from Danny Dimes equals franchise Viagra. Amen.
Let them. Okay. Hashtag I don't want to overreact, but thank you, Brian Dable. Since that big dumb dipshit couldn't figure out how to unlock the most talented person to ever play the quarterback position, Colts get a Super Bowl. First Saquon, now Dimes. Somebody put Mara on suicide watch. I'm worried for the guy. I do wonder what it's like for Mara to watch Danny just do what he's doing right now.
Can't be good.
Only team in history to have no turnovers and win this amount. Only team in history only have one punt through the first 3 weeks. So not only is it like we're not punting, it's like we're not turning it over. We just score all the time. Danny Dimes just scores all the time. I think it's like 70% of the scoring drives or 80% of scoring drives or something like that. I forget what it is. It's absolutely insanity. And Danny Dimes is the maestro of it all.
Yeah.
And Danny Dimes is the new piece that's just been dropped in there, alongside Tyler Warren, who is filthy as a football player. The Colts are in a great spot, and I do assume that Mara is having a couple of whoa. He's able to, did we know he was able to, was he also, what could he do to, why weren't we? And now we're thinking over here in Indy, thank you for burying this guy under hell, basically where he was for a long time. Media, everything, just getting attacked. This dude's gotten so callous that he's just so locked in.
Yep.
Nothing can really bother him, and he's seen every defense. He's just very comfortable in front of everything. And the Shane Steichen offense, very complicated, I think. I think there's a lot of shit going on in there. You're seeing him get to his third read a couple of different times. You're seeing them shift and pick up blitzes and do that shit. It's like they weren't able to do that, obviously. Shane Steichen wasn't able to do that for a while because we had new quarterback that's never played football and has never seen any of it. And then, boom, now we got Danny Dimes. Shane Steichen's sleeping a lot better, too. Shane Steichen's thanking Daboll greatly for everything that's going on right now.
Great stuff there in the McAfee show. We're going to welcome in Hector Longo now, just like that, from the Eagle Tribune. But before that, see, this is what I love. This is how you know that people on the national media are so fucking lazy. Very unsportsmanlike radio. Here's the big topic right now. Who's the second best team in the NFC and who's the best team in the AFC? Who gives a shit? Nobody knows anything right now. It's week fucking 3. These are the laziest people on the planet. They can't come up with other content than who's the second best team in the AFC. I don't know. Baltimore might still be the best team in the AFC. They had a bad night last night. Maybe Detroit's the best team in the NFC right now. Green Bay, you idiots, had them in the Super Bowl last week before losing to Cleveland. It is it's preposterous to start speculating. Matt LaFleur is right. Idiots like these people talking about Green Bay going undefeated after week 2. Unbelievable. Anyway, off my soapbox. Good morning, Hector. How are you?
I'm great, Pete. It's funny you bring this up, though, because yesterday I spent a little chunk of my afternoon trying to figure out the haves and the sort of haves and the have-nots in the NFL. And
don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. Wait a few more weeks.
I think you break it down into a couple of groups, though. I really do. Like I couldn't tell you 1 to 12 who's who, but I could tell you for sure that, you know, I could give you those 12 teams that are going to be around, say, in January, I should say, not February. But yeah.
Well, again, injuries aside, which are big. We just saw Bosa go down for the year. Najee Harris is out for the year, and the Chargers are off to a 3-0 start. But nevertheless, I mean, things can change, and I'm not using a pun here. Things could change on a dime. Like one thing I will say that I'm absolutely convinced of, unless he gets seriously hurt or it goes to hell, is that Danny Jones, he's going to get comeback player of the year. Is there any doubt right now? If I want to speak in an absolute, there's one that I feel pretty confident in, unless it all goes to shit the next 13 weeks.
Do you trust the Colts really? Honest to God, somebody was asking me, are the Colts any good? No chance. No chance they are what they are right now, Pete. Come on. I don't trust them one bit.
Look, I don't know. I keep trying to talk myself out of it. So they are what they are. They are what they are. They punted once, Hector, once.
Best job in football. Indianapolis Colts punter. You never see the field.
You might be absolutely right, but I'm just saying, right? If you want me to talk about, I'm not saying who's MVP. I'm not saying who's the best team, second best team, third best team, 12th best team. If you want me to speak of one topic, of one absolute right now, clearly ahead of the class for comeback player of the year has got to be Danny Dimes. That's all.
He's shocking people right now. Let's put it this way, because you didn't expect this. I didn't expect this. nobody expected what he's doing. Right. Yeah, right.
I brought
Right.
up, and as usual, ESPN copies me. I brought up the Burt Jones reference after week 1. I'm like, geez, Daniel Jones looked like Burt Jones for the Baltimore
You're
Colts.
making me feel old. Now you're making me feel old because I remember Burt Jones, and not only did I remember him, but I feared him back in the day.
Oh, we all did. Remember, how about the Monday night game where the Patriots are heavily favored? It was like a monsoon in Foxborough, and Joe Washington.
Oh yeah.
Washington ran for like 8,000 touchdowns and 400 yards. Anyway,
we suffered back then, Pete. We suffered badly. Okay, we all got repaid the last 2.5 decades, whatever it is, but we suffered back in the day.
all right, I'm not going to get into what yesterday I had Christopher Price on from the Glow. I'm not going to rehash the same stuff. What happened on Sunday? We know the details. We know the negatives, no question about it. And the one positive I can take out of it, because you got to go both ways. I'm not going to be like people on some radio stations to just strictly do a whole 4 hours of shitting all over Ramondre Stevenson. That's too easy. But playing devil's advocate, you got to at least grant me this. How many teams in the NFL, Hector, could overcome 5 turnovers and still have a freaking chance to at least tie the game with 30 seconds to go, had Pop Douglas maybe fallen forward and not backwards? So that to me says a little something, because I don't think there's a lot of teams, if you turn the ball over, especially the Patriots did with 4 fumbles and the interception, I think most teams would be blown out by 30 plus points, but they were there. They were still there at the end. So is that at least a residue to build on a little bit from a character standpoint for this team?
I would love to agree with you on that one, Pete. I really would. But I saw how bad that Pittsburgh Steelers team looked. That's a Steelers team that gave up 31 points in week 2 and 32 points in week 1 to the Jets. And they were destined to give up 30 on Sunday.
Easily.
We just couldn't. The Patriots just could not find a way to step into that void and just take what they were giving them. And the 5 turnovers, I'll call it at the worst quirky, or at the best quirky, I should say, because those things don't happen on a regular basis, Pete. And you're right, that should have been a win. But let's not try to focus on the win or the loss. I just try with this team, honestly, to focus on, is anybody stepping up and playing better, and is the quarterback playing well? And I think those are the 2 areas of focus more than wins or losses. And that's what scares me a little bit, Pete. Is I'm waiting for guys to step into the fray and say, "All right, I'm a football player. Let's go." And we haven't really seen that yet, and that's kind of a little scary.
And I will say it to you for the 3rd straight week. Where the hell is Chisholm III? Get that guy in there. Unless he's hurt and we don't know about it.
So that's part of what I would call the one issue I have with this team is, I hate being old and I harken back to the old days, but if you remember the 2000 season, Pete, Belichick ran guys in and out till he found some guys. Now look, he had players on that team. He had the Ted Johnsons and the McGinnis and Laws, and so he had some guys that he could deal with. But he was searching that roster to find players. And if I have one issue with Mike Vrabel right now, he's not trying other guys. He's not trying the Efton Chisholms of the world when Pop Douglas has 13 receiving yards on the season. Like, why are you running him out there anymore if that's your, if you're averaging 4.33 yards a week, you have to try different things. I want to see Vrabel try different things. Chisholm's the poster child for that. Get him on the roster for Sunday in the games, and let's see what he's got. I want to see new guys trying new things.
Yeah. Now, obviously, I said to Chris yesterday. I'll ask you. Were you at the press conference yesterday? I'm assuming you were for Vrabel. Were you down there yesterday?
I didn't go down there yesterday, no, Pete. I don't go down Monday. It's tough.
Bill Burt.
Yeah, right. We threw Billy into the fray on that one. So,
well, we knew that Karen Gregan always asked the first question. I love Karen to death, and right away brought up Ramondre Stevenson. Now, for me, I've had it. I said it. I'm done, and I don't know what technique that Mike Vrabel is talking about. The first fumble, he looked like he tried to switch hands. I've gone back and I don't want to hear it anymore. That guy cost that team the game. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. That was 14 points left on the field. Gibson's fumble was just was horrible too after they made that stop. for the Steelers, and then right away to give it back. But overall, Stevens, I've had it. I don't care what he did against Miami. I mean, I care. Wonderful game. God his praises. I've seen enough. I don't know what technique Mike Vrabel is going to try. He talked to yesterday. I heard the cut. About put two hands on the ball. We tried. Of course, you're going to try to put two hands on. Whatever it is, it doesn't click. It doesn't click. So he only played 2 snaps after the second fumble. I don't want to see him. I really don't want to see him touching the ball. The people who are saying Travion Henderson can't be the feature back, I don't care about a feature back. They don't need a feature back. They just need people to hang on to the football. But are we going to see Ramondre Stevenson carry the ball this week against Carolina?
I think the roles will switch, Pete. I think this is the week that the roles switch. He may be the number 3 guy now. It's funny, you say he played 2 snaps after the second fumble. One of them was a passing situation where they put him in to catch the ball. So, and he had the catch last week, or a couple of catches last week at the big 55-yard throw. Maybe he assumes that kind of third down role, and they try and get him in the passing game a little bit more, and allow Henderson
and
to take over the lead role. Maybe that is something I can see happening. I just don't think Mike's going to call him out and say, "Nope, you're not playing today, or you're benched today, or you're not on the active roster Sunday against Carolina." But I do think the roles are going to change a little bit. And
I'm with you, unless he really has a fucked up practice sessions this week. That could influence coaches sometimes as well. But you're probably right. And so, I'm just worried about the benefit of the doubt. Again, okay, he catches a nice 20-yard wheel route and then gets the ball knocked out of his hands again. It's going to be. He needs to be like Davis was, or like some of these tight end, like Travis Kelce, a perfect example. The other night, he's just wrapping up the ball like this. You need a backhoe to get that ball out of his hand. That's what Ramondre Stevenson's going to be like. I mean, some sort of a vice. Just even if you can't run as fast, just hold a damn ball.
Well, that's the thing, Peter. You're going to ask Derrick Henry, who's fumbled 3 times now, to stop running as hard. You want him running hard. I think it's more. It's got to be more of a mental thing right now with both guys actually, with Henry and Stevenson. It's got to be more of a mental thing, and maybe Stevenson's not giving you the game-breaking ability that Derrick Henry's giving you, and that's part of the problem. If he was, you could live with the fumbles actually, but he's 4 yards, and let's get to the next play. And it's right now that's just not worth it.
When Spillman made that pick on that horrible throw, I was like, that's it. I've been waiting for Flaky Boy to do it. Here it is, boom. And I really thought momentum had completely changed at that time, but they found a way to give it back.
They found a way, Pete. They found a way to lose games. Remember, we found a way to win games. They found a way to lose a game. I was standing in that Pittsburgh locker room, and they looked like every guy had a shit-eating grin on their face because they were the luckiest man alive. They really were. Talk about a team that didn't deserve to win.
And especially there where they hadn't won since 2008. That was the last bad game they played against the Steelers. The Matt Castle game was a rainy, shitty day that day. They won everything, and we went 11-5 and missed the playoffs that year. But usually, they've had the Steelers number for a long time. And Aaron Rodgers had never won. He was 0-2 with the Packers in Foxborough and that kind of a thing. But look, if they win this week, they're 2-2. Just like they have the same record right now as the Baltimore Ravens.
They really do, but like I said, I kind of trust the Ravens a little bit more than I trust the Patriots.
All I'm saying is
I know you're not.
We're in the same boat right now. Kansas City didn't deserve to win that game. Jackson Dart doesn't start this week, then somebody ought to do a lobotomy on the Mara family. I mean, that's ridiculous.
How does Dable still have his job? Can I ask you?
No.
How is he still employed?
How are they both not gone?
Yeah, it's that kind of stuff shocks me. And I heard Boomer Esiason talking the other day about on Sunday morning about how stability is going to work for the Giants. They're 40-95 in the last 10 years, whatever the number is. 40 and 95. You want stability? Go for it. You're stable and you're awful.
Speaking of stability, check this out. Here's a Mike McDaniel yesterday. We're ready for the Jets. I mean, this is my favorite. There you go.
As it relates to the next opponent, I think it has been beneficial. I think the guys always after a Thursday night game, it's such a taxing endeavor for their bodies. So I think it was a good weekend spent for us to get back to work because I'm never mad at people having better perspective on how important the work week is, and you lose on Thursday night and you have to sit on it all weekend. That gets people as motivated as you could hope going into the next opponent, which is what we absolutely need to do.
I'm glad we cleared that up. Sit on it. Hadn't heard that since Happy Days.
How is that dude Bob still working on Friday morning? Can I ask you?
How and because Stephen Ross is a sentimental idiot. Great businessman, does a great job in South Florida with spreading the wealth around and charitable stuff and all of that. I grant him everything. As an owner of a football team, he's a joke. He's an absolute joke.
Opportunity was knocking. You have that long week off, the weekend off. You could have cleaned out his office and brought in the new guy. And I was stunned Friday morning that he still had a job.
I guess they're going to wait till after the Spain game. I don't know what they're waiting for. I mean, is it going to take a loss to the Jets this week, which could very well happen? They gave Tampa all they could handle last week, and they probably should have beat the Steelers, a couple of weeks ago. But I don't understand the Miami Dolphins. I don't understand their owner at all. I don't get it. All right, let's give a couple more questions. Let's get back to the Carolina Panthers. Now, that was one of the shocking scores of the day. Them shutting out the Falcons 30-0. And Michael Penix Jr., who I thought was going to be one of the best quarterbacks to come out of that draft, and when he was surprisingly selected by the Falcons when they did take him, he was awful. But basically, he's a rookie, regardless of what, like J.J. McCarthy. So he's going to have his ups and downs. But 30-0, I was stunned at that score. How about you?
If you asked me to name 7 Carolina Panthers today, I'd be hard-pressed to do it. That's a no-name team that's kind of rebuilding on the fly. No chance would I have ever thought they would go in and beat up a team like they did. I literally only watched the first half to try and get acquainted with them already. I haven't been able to watch both halves. But that was kind of shocking because they're a very nondescript club. I mean, Ted McMillan, Chuba Hubbard, the midget quarterback, and that's about it, Pete. Honest to God,
you know what, though? I mean, this is one of those teams that people last year with, Dave Canales, who was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we knew. But it's great when you have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and at the time, Scotty. I mean, there were a lot of good players, and Baker Mayfield and everything else. Now those guys are all hurt, except for Baker. But I mean, it's like Ben Johnson. You get a reputation. It's great when you get that reputation as an OC, whatever. But Carolina was going to be one of those sexy, up-and-coming teams this year until they weren't. But you know what? So far, what are they? They're 1-2 as well. So they are in no position, obviously, as a 5.5-point favorite, by the way, to take anybody for granted. But again, this is another one of those games that we pegged in for a W. And I guess if they're 2-2 after these 4 games, I got to be pretty happy with that. But we have to get there. Have to get there first.
Yeah, I like to take the season in 2-game blocks, and you go 1-1 in those first 4. That each of those first 4 that would work for me. And regardless, like you said, of how they got there, like I never thought they'd get on to Miami and win, but you kind of thought they'd win the opener. So if you can kind of right the ship at 2-2, I hate to say it, the schedule doesn't get any tougher. It gets it stays the same. So if you can tread water a little bit, and find a way to get better. Can the quarterback stop making the stupid mistakes? Can the offensive line give him just enough time? Can Josh somehow trust somebody to give him more than a second to throw the ball and let somebody run down the field and actually try to get open? These are things that we haven't seen for 4 weeks of 3 weeks now, going into the fourth week, and
Yeah,
can we
but
get?
again, I think the offensive line did a pretty good job. You had the fucking running backs fumble 3 times. I mean,
I know, I know.
they get at least, even though not even 21 points, they get 14 out of those points, and all of a sudden the offensive line looks great. I mean, I'm sorry, that's not the offensive line's fault that the running backs are fumbling.
No, but I'm not saying the offensive line is playing so bad, Peter. What I'm saying is they're not asking them to do a ton. He's getting the ball in and out. I want Josh to trust his offensive line, and then we'll see if we can. Like, was T.J. Watt a real big issue? I know he had 2 sacks. They were 2. I don't want to call them garbage time sacks, but they were, things broke down, coverage sack type of thing where it was a 2-yard sack. May trying to get as much as he can out of a play where that was destined to fail. He wasn't a factor. It's not like there were no jailbreaks. There was no, sieve-like offensive line work.
Yep.
But they're also getting the ball in and out, and nobody's running down the field, Pete. They're not running the deep routes. They're running this intermediate stuff to short stuff, and it's kind of congested things. And like you said,
Except for Booty. Booty's the only one.
They had a 17-play drive that they fumbled away.
Now, I give J.J. Watt a lot of credit. Iron Eagle, good call the other day on the TV side. Did you hear what J.J. said? Had a great, and I loved how CBS did the old school 70s theme.
Yeah, the check marks on the board in the pregame show. Jimmy the Greek. Yeah,
and then on one of the flags that went against the Steelers, and J.J. Watt goes, "Yep." He goes, "That's what you get for grabbing booty."
They can use an influx of talent. I hope JJ is good. I hope he stays like.
He was good on the air. He was very objective. Didn't get all, but it was like he said that on Eagle Ghost just said like something like, "I knew that was coming." It's just and there's nothing wrong with that. This day and age,
I'm an Iron Eagle guy too. We have debates in this house over Iron Eagle. I think he's like a good, secondary guy. So I'm a fan.
Yeah. Well, I'm a fan of his dad too. I mean, I mean both of them. His son too. I think. I know nepotism come into play with how quickly he has risen, but he's one of those exceptions to the rules. Unlike Little Collinsworth, who I hate. I hate Little Collinsworth. I hate Little Collinsworth like I used to hate Chris Mullen's brother on St. John's. I hated Little Mullen. Hated him. It's just like, what are you doing there? You don't do anything except be a ball boy. But I hate Little.
Well, Chris Mullen's brother was a package deal, though. You had to take him. Louis had to take him back in the day.
I know he did. I know he did. I'm being a little facetious. I just like, you say, why is he playing? He stinks. But Chris Collinsworth's son is, and again, professional, not personal.
No, right.
I think he's a joke. I think it's just every time he opens his mouth. I mean, I don't believe anything you say. I don't believe anything you say. You never had to work your way up to get the job you had. Your lucky daddy, for some reason, had good ties with NBC, and that's how you got the job.
Definitely in need of several years with the Woo Sox, Pete. And then come back to see me. And after 5 years with the Woo Sox, then come back to see me.
Go right in the bus leagues, do play-by-play for a single-A baseball team, and then come back and say you haven't paid your dues. All right, so what else going up with you? What's going on this week? Everybody's getting ready. I mean, people want to have a game tomorrow. I get it, but it's going to be really interesting to me to see Ramondre Stevenson, and I agree with you. I think if he's used at all, he'll be out of the backfield on wheel routes or whatever. And I started to see some of the stuff that I used to love when Belichick used to line up the running back split, wide right and wide left. I love that. I think that really confused. If you have the guys that can do it and catch the football, I want to see more of that.
Kevin Falk torched the Steelers when they did that back in the day. That was a ball of confusion. Let's put it that way. But Pete, you say, what do we look at if we look ahead? I was thinking about this, a little bit this morning. What if this wasn't Mike Vrabel running the show, and what if they were 1-2 coming off a 5 turnover game, and it was still Gerard Mayo? How it would be mass hysteria right now in New England if they hadn't made the coaching change. So I think the Vrabel effect indirectly is giving them a little bit of stability in a really, really tough time, because 5 turnovers, penalties, defensive breakdowns. They're all things that, lack of talent leads to. Lack of talent on the roster leads to, and his stability is going to keep.
Are we
I think.
talking about lack of talent? Are we going to be talking about lack of talent if Ramondre Stevenson doesn't fucking fumble twice? Or Gibson, they're in the end zone with 14 plus points. And then all of a sudden the narrative switches. I blame the running backs. I'm sorry. They are to blame in that clause.
But they're on the roster, Pete.
150,000%. They're the ones. You cost us the game, Ramondre Stevenson. Not the offensive line, not even the bad interception in the end zone by May, not by a long shot. You cost them the game, period. End of story. Hold on to the damn football or get out of my sight. I swear to God, I've had it.
All right, well, bring on Trevion Henderson then. I'm ready, willing, and able for that one. I put him in the lead role and let the kid cook. I'm with you on that. Let him swim.
I know there's stuff that has to be corrected, and they're not. All I'm saying is, what you would have heard last week, if Mayo were still doing, it's the same thing we're saying is get Stevenson out. Get Stevenson out, get Stevenson out. I mean, there were clearly 3 or 4 games last year where I thought Gerard Mayo's play calling clearly cost them football games because they were in so many one-score games so many times. I think his lack of clock management and play calling clearly cost them some games.
But I just think fans are saying now, relax. Mike Vrabel knows what he's doing, and so I think
you know what? That's a good attitude to have. Shouldn't we have that too? You think they're saying in Baltimore? What do you think people are saying in Baltimore today? Fire Harbaugh, get benched. Derrick Henry. Again, talent wise, I get it. I'm not saying it, but I'll bet you every team. How about what they're saying in Green Bay this week? Although they never hate on anybody. How do you play like that poorly and play and lose to the Browns?
Talk about inventing a way to lose a game.
Yeah.
They had to make a lot of things work to lose that game on Sunday.
Yeah, they did. Absolutely did. All right, my man. Always love talking to you. And I'm sure you're heading down there this week at some point. I'm
yes,
sure.
Absolutely. So,
and
first week, no glitches, Pete. Woo! First week, didn't need my wife, didn't need no glitches. 1 in a row, baby. Absolutely. 1 in a row. Let's go.
Your wife, Sandra, right?
Yes, my wife, Sandra.
Great job. Excellent. Thank you so much, my man.
Great to talk to you. Have a great day down there.
Yes, always.
Be good, Angel.
Always. And just like that, one great guest to another, Hector Longo, who did not need the help of his wife, Sandra, to get on the show today. To other great guests, the one and only Sean McAdam, one of the best MLB insiders from MassLive.com, covers the Red Sox, but knows all things of baseball and pretty much close to hockey as well, as they've said in the past. Good morning, Sean. How are you?
Pete, how are you? Good to see you.
I hate days off at this time of year for the Red Sox. Yesterday sucked, even though it was a good football game last night. But back in action tonight in every series, every game, every inning, every pitch is now important. And I'll be watching eyes glued tonight, as I have been for 99.9% of the season. The only good thing is they do have a tiebreaker, right? They have the tiebreaker with Cleveland and Houston, I think. But nevertheless,
correct.
What are your thoughts of the Red Sox heading into this series tonight? Where is this team? Can they just hang on here for the week between Toronto and Detroit?
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy week for the Red Sox, but I think they're actually mathematically in pretty good shape when you start breaking it down. If they go 3-3 over the final 6, then either Cleveland or Houston has to go 5-1 to knock them off. So 3-3 against 2 good teams is not a slam dunk, particularly when you look at how inconsistent the team has been for the last few weeks. But it seems to me that's not a very high bar to clear. If you want to make the postseason, win half of your remaining games here in the final week, and you're probably pretty much in. It's not guaranteed. Somebody could get hot. Cleveland, we've seen, until they lost the other day, was on an incredible roll. What was it, 8 in a row, 10 out of 11 or something?
How about the back-to-back shutouts in a doubleheader? I mean, first time since, 1960 that's happened?
Yep. So nothing guaranteed, but as I said, I think they have to like the math and what it means for them in the final week.
And right now, it would be Cleveland and Houston a tie, but Cleveland has the tiebreaker edge there. The Red Sox are a game up on Cleveland. But they have the tiebreaker
Yeah,
on
so it's
Cleveland.
really they're really 2 games up when you look at it that way because a tie does not do any good to either the Guardians or the Astros.
Yep. And back of them is Texas, 5 games back, but it'd be taking
They're done.
They're done. They're absolutely done. We knew when Roman Anthony went down that was going to be a huge loss, but man, for big chunks, with the exception of an inning here against the A's, an inning there, it's a totally different team offensively with him not being in the lineup. I knew there'd be some changes, but I didn't think it'd be as dramatic as it is. Were you surprised by that as well?
Yeah, I am. I mean, I think it's kind of the old, you have to lose something to know how much you're missing it, right? And even though we could see in real time the impact that Anthony had on the bases in the outfield, but certainly leading off, I mean, that's really where it's cost them. He had a 4.0 something on base percentage, and no matter who they try there, whether it's Duran against righties or any number of combinations against lefties, they haven't gotten on base at nearly the same rate. The offense has not been as productive. And it's clear in retrospect exactly how valuable Anthony was. You can see that in his absence. His arrival, along with that of Marcelo Myers, provided a little midseason jolt. But you can really see what he meant to them now that he's not there. And I think that contribution just kind of grows retrospect, with each passing day, you realize what he meant to the team when he was there, particularly hitting leadoff.
I know, like in the case of Bregman and some buzzards of luck, as the late great Jimmy Williams would say, hitting the ball hard right at people. And I understand that. I got no problem with him. But what about the team's overall approach to the plate? Something we talked about in the beginning of the season, where I wanted everybody fired. And but I mean, the numbers are staggering with runners left on base, off the chart. Now, is that because sometimes those numbers skewed because they get on base more than anybody else in Major League Baseball, or is it just simply they need to change their attitude and their approach to the plate, or just simply a lack of talent?
Yeah, I don't know that you can make any one generalization about something that has bothered most of the lineup most of the year, but their numbers, particularly with the bases loaded, are atrocious since August. They're well below 200, and I don't know if that is a function of guys trying a little too hard, figuring that they need to. I got to come through here. You're gripping the bat a little tighter. You're becoming more aggressive than you should be. You're chasing pitches out of the zone because you want to deliver the big break it open hit. You want the bases clearing double and all that brings. I don't know if it's mental, physical, or just a not big enough sample size, but there's no question with runners in scoring position, and particularly with the bases loaded, they have to see better results, and they're not getting them.
Let's talk about some of the positives, and as I'm under the Bill Parcells' old cliche, just get in the tournament, and I think if they get into the postseason with this pitching staff, overall, I think has been surprisingly impressive. I'm such a huge fan of Tolley. There's something about him. He's like a tight end that can throw 100 miles an hour, and I know when he came the other day against the I want to say Oakland, sorry, the West Portland A's. And that attitude coming in 100 miles an hour and just doing what he did. And I know he's got a ways to go, but I think he's going to be a tremendous asset in the bullpen come the postseason. And I know Conley early, again, going back to the A's, we saw what he did it was the 4th inning, I think, back his first start, right? It was bases loaded. He struck out back-to-back guys, get out of it.
Yep.
Now, he got a little bit of trouble the other day in the first inning and didn't have quite the same results. But overall, what are your thoughts on those two rookies and the impact they can have on this team in the postseason?
Yeah, and let's throw Kyle Harrison in there, even though he's not a rookie.
Yes.
A guy with some big league experience with the Giants, but he pitched extremely well the other night in Tampa. And, it's kind of strange to think that they're going to pick between two guys with so little experience to pitch game 4 of a division series, should they get that far. I know we're leapfrogging a lot here. We're assuming they're going to get into the wild card, and then we start assuming they're going to advance. But at some point, they could need a fourth starter. And this is where we are in Major League Baseball in 2025, where everybody has run out of pitching down the stretch, and they're turning it over to guys who have 10 big league innings to their credit. The Mets have 3 rookie starters in their rotation, and this is a team with a $300 million payroll. So everybody's out of gas, everybody's out of bullets, and it's come one, come all, come save us. And the Red Sox are no different in that regard. They're really relying on some young pitching. And we'll see, the postseason, as you know, Pete, is a different animal, different intensity. Some guys respond to it better than others. Totally strikes me as a guy who would feed off that adrenaline and energy. Both Early and Harrison are a little more subdued in their makeup and how they act and look on the mound. But all 3 of those guys, I think, could potentially play a pretty big role, particularly going forward. But even in a wild card round, they could be called on to get some big outs out of the bullpen. I mean, obviously, you're going to lean most heavily on the 3 guys that you have all year, with Wilson and Whitlock and Chapman. Those are your 3 big guys that you're going to turn to in high leverage spots if you have the lead or 7th and or 8th inning. But we also know that there could be a big spot in the 5th inning, and it's too early to go to one of those guys. And so, do one of the rookies get the call in a big spot there, and how do they perform?
That's a great point. Especially I could see Alex Cora bringing in a Tolle in that situation. If it's the 5th inning, the game's tied at 3, and there's 1st and 2nd or the bases loaded, and you need a K with 2 outs, and you bring in a guy like Tolle, and he responds. Is he as intimidating in person? To me, he's like a Gronkowski, like, give me ball, I throw hard, and get out of my way. I mean, he seems like a great kid, but man, almost a Gossage-esque intimidating. I think he's got that kind of presence.
Yeah, I think some of it's the mustache. It's kind of got that Pete Vukovich look to him, maybe from going back a little bit. He's actually a nice kid, fairly easygoing off the mound, but it is a intimidating presence to look out there and see a guy who's 6'4" and built like a tight end, and he's coming at you with electric stuff, with triple-digit velo on the fastball, and that can't be easy to face.
And not only that, they were showing, I forget what game it was, and I think it was Lou Maloney pointed out during the broadcast that, on once his leg sets, and he's really, forget 60 feet, 6 inches, it's like 55 feet to the plate.
Right. He gets great extension.
Big. At 100 miles an hour. I mean, Jesus, that's amazing. That's got to be intimidating for anybody.
Yeah, that's a lot coming at you in a big spot like that, and knowing that you got to load up to swing and try to hit that can't be easy for hitters.
All right, now going on the presence that anything can happen after 2004. The only tiebreaker situation that the Red Sox would possibly be in is if somehow they sweep the Blue Jays. What if the Red Sox, Yankees, and Blue Jays? I was under the impression, Sean, there would be no math. But if they were all tied at the end with the same record, the Red Sox have the tiebreaker over the Yankees. We know that. Do they have the tiebreaker over the Blue Jays? I forget. Should they sweep that series?
Yeah, no, I think they've already lost the season series to Toronto. So I think it's something like they're 3-7 maybe against Toronto so far. So I don't think even a sweep is going to change that.
So Toronto would have to absolutely collapse, not only in the sweep, lose all 3 to the Red Sox, but then lose their finale against whoever that is as well. That's the only way. The Red Sox would have to win the division outright.
I mean,
it's not going to happen. That's the only way.
The division is out of hand, and likely, I wouldn't say the Yankees are completely out of hand, but 2 games at this point is a lot. Although the Red Sox do have the tiebreak. Is it 2 or 3 now behind the Yankees?
They are 3 behind the Yankees.
Okay,
3 games
that's a lot of ground to make up in six
Mhm.
games. But stranger things have happened, and a tie goes to the Red Sox because of the tiebreaker. But I would expect that that the Yankees are likely to finish ahead, and if those two teams meet, that it would come in New York.
I want to switch over to well, first of all, a couple of things with Sean McAdam, great MLB reporter from MassLive.com. I think we talked last month about it. I told you, we've been all fortunate enough with all 4 teams in the Boston area and covered a couple all the championships, very blessed, spoiled, all that. The only thing left on my bucket list at my age, at 58 years old, I have one. And I think we've talked about is a Red Sox Cubs World Series, which I know you don't want because of the press box. And I understand that, but
I kind of jokingly say
well,
that.
no, I know that.
It'd be two great ballparks, 2 great baseball cities, and that would be a lot of fun. But it would be a pain in the ass for reporters.
What would be more fun? A Red Sox, and again, going way down the line here, but this is what we do. And especially when it comes to baseball nostalgia, I love it. And I think it stimulates conversation. What would be more fun for you, or if I could ask you to speak for most fans, a Red Sox Cubs World Series or a Red Sox Reds World Series with the return of Terry Francona?
Yeah, they got to get there first.
They're there now, but
tied, they're tied with the Mets and actually ahead because they own the tiebreaker. So, I had a brief text conversation with Tito earlier in the week, and
nice.
Wished him good luck. And they've hung in there. And if ever you needed a reminder of the impact he can have, it's being played out right now. I don't think anybody had the Reds being in the postseason. I don't think anybody had them overtaking a team with a payroll like the Mets. But they have hung in there, and they have reflected his leadership. And, this is what a good manager can mean to a team that maybe isn't the most talented and maybe has some pretty obvious holes in its roster. But in a tight race, a good manager can make a difference, and we're seeing that play out.
But do you think fans? How do you think fans and most media would want? Would you want to see Terry Francona come up against the Red Sox, or would you rather Red Sox Cubs, the ultimate nostalgic World Series?
Yeah, I think people, no disrespect to Tito, I think people would rather see the Cubs, the 2 oldest ballparks in the game. That would be a lot of fun for 2 great sports cities. We came very close to that, of course, in 2003.
Yep.
Bud Selig was not so secretly rooting for that kind of matchup because of what it would have. I suppose you can't top the drama of Red Sox Yankees, but Red Sox Cubs in the World Series, the TV ratings would have been through the roof. The baseball got Dodgers Yankees last year. That's pretty good in terms of a marquee matchup and 2 big baseball markets and cities. They would love a Cubs Red Sox World Series. However likely or unlikely that might be, it would be a lot of fun.
A couple of last things here with Sean McAdam from MassLive.com. If I told you at the start of the season that the Mets at this point would be 80-76 and looking up at the Cincinnati Reds, even though they're tied, as you just said, the Reds have the tie. I know they've had some injuries. I get it. But what the hell is going on with that organization? I've never seen a team go through so many 8-game losing streaks in my life.
Yeah. I would say that what's going on with them is sort of emblematic of what's going on with a number of teams. And that is simply they ran out of pitching. And they have to turn to 3 rookies in the rotation. But I think we're going to see more of this every year now, Pete. It is such a war of attrition where pitchers are being asked to throw 100% velocity, 100% effort, and you can't expect to do that for 6 months and not have some breakdowns. And when it breaks down, you better have some emergency options, as the Mets do with, Tong and McClain and some of these young guys they have turned to out of desperation. Obviously, it's more than just the starting pitching with the Mets. They've had bullpen issues. They've had some issues with their lineup, but the Dodgers, the Tigers, the Mets, they're all crawling to the finish line here. And most of it, I mean, the Dodgers got their pitching injuries out of the way early, and they're getting healthier. But a lot of these teams are simply running out of gas because they're running out of arms.
Finally down here, the Tampa Bay Rays have finally been sold to real estate developer Patrick Zalupski. Don't know if you know him about him, along with the transfer from Stu Sternberg's group. I don't know. Did you get to tap down here at the Bandbox Stadium this year at all? Did you get to?
Yeah, I was just there this weekend.
Oh, you were? How? No, I still don't have no clue. They say they want to keep the team in Tampa. Anything else? Are you hearing anything or anything like that? What'd you think of the little league field that they played in?
Well, I mean, I'm familiar with it because it's the Yankees spring training home, so I've been there plenty of times. But it's a very different environment when you're, playing in March 10th and when you're playing on September 21st. Big league games that count in the middle of a pennant race. I mean, I think they did the best they could under the circumstances, but it's not a major league facility. You've got limitations there, and even Sunday they had to play the game at night because they couldn't be playing at the same time as the Bucks were across the street because of traffic and parking and everything. It's far from optimal. Let's hope that they can repair the Trop enough so that they can go back there next year. Who thought we'd ever be pining away for Tropicana Field?
That's the last thing. You said a professional environment or whatever. That's not a professional environment in that place. It's a shithole. It's the worst stadium ever in the history of Major League Baseball. The only people that enjoy going there are Red Sox, Yankees, Cubs, Dodgers, and Mets fans, it seems. They have a very limited, loyal Tampa Bay Ray type of fan base. I mean, I don't know. Do you enjoy going to Tropicana Field and not?
It's actually not a good. Again, working the selfish side of the street. It's an easy ballpark to work in. It's easy to get around. The sight lines are good in the press box, and it's not a bad place to watch a game. I don't know if you. I'm assuming
I have. I mean, from a luxury box.
The sight lines are actually pretty good and open. Everyone hates the rings at the top and the stupid rules about, well, if it hits the C ring, it's in play. If it hits the D ring, it's those are ridiculous.
Yeah.
But, for the most part, it's not a bad environment to watch a game in. And it's better than what we just came out of for 3 days, where you really are playing in a glorified spring training game that seats 10,000 or a little bit more. We'll see what happens. Obviously, long term, they need to find and build another ballpark. I think it would probably be best to hear people there tell it, to have it be on the Tampa side of the bay, where you draw upon a bigger population base, maybe even get a few people from Orlando to come over, which they would not do to St. Pete. Both the A's situation and this is not good. The Red Sox basically spent half of September playing in AAA ballparks because of the situation both in Sacramento and in Tampa. It can't get fixed fast enough, and it's really too bad. I mean, I cut the Rays a little break because this was kind of an act of God thing where, the hurricanes a year ago were the result or what took place couldn't be controlled. The A's are a different story because that's sort of self-induced errors out there on the ownership part. But it's not a good look for baseball to be playing in environments like that when you're trying to determine who's going to be in the playoffs, and those are a couple of the facilities in use.
They had to secretly be wishing Rob Manfred that neither of those teams, either one of those teams, was going to make the postseason. Thank God.
Yeah, that would have been the ultimate black eye for baseball in October.
Sean, thanks so much as always. You got you're not in Toronto. What about this? The season they close out at home against Detroit right after this.
Right.
All right. Next time we talk, it'll be in the postseason. Knock on. Hopefully. And we'll look forward to it. Thank you so much. Again, check out Sean McAdam, MassLive.com. What else do you want to plug?
No, just people can find me on my Twitter handle, Sean_McAdam.
Awesome. Thank you, my friend, and have a great rest of your week.
All right. Thanks, Pete. Good to see you.
You too. There you go. Sean McAdam, one of the great MLB insiders as well. Great hockey fan, too. Probably could have talked to him about the Bruins all day as well, but another time. Anyway, great stuff from Sean McAdam. Great stuff from Hector Longo with the Patriots. And Sean, of course, great MLB insider talking about the Red Sox. And going to be interesting to see where the Rays end up. It seems like Tampa, but it could be St. Pete. I don't know. I'm going to flip a coin. What do you think, Angel?
It's going to be Tampa. It's going to be Tampa. And no matter what, people can say, well, they belong to St. Pete. Not really. You're even though they just put out the numbers saying that there was 782,000 fans that went through Steinbrenner Field and they had 61 sellouts, which I find hard to believe, but apparently they had 61 sellouts, obviously with, the opposing teams, Red Sox, Yankees, the bigger name market brand teams that come down. But they said that the last season before the hurricane ended up taking out the rooftop, there was 1.2 million folks that went through the Trop. I find that even harder to
not maybe technically paid tickets, but I mean there was one point where they were averaging like 6,000 a night, 7,000 a night top. Now Tampa Bay currently 29th in home attendance this year, ahead only of the A's, who are playing their home games in a minor league ballpark, as we just talked about in West Sacramento. And with a new stadium over there to be opened up in Vegas in 2028. The Rays have completed their home schedule while the A's have drawn 711,609 with 6 home games left. The Rays ended up going 41-40, and they drew 1,337,739 fans in 2024. This year, they had 61 sellouts and drew 786,750, which is down from the 1.337,739 from 2 years ago, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, they're going to end up in Tampa because there's just no way. I mean, it's for even where the Trop is, because the area has become so congested with a lot of folks that moved from up north. Yours truly, of course, in that conversation from a couple of years ago, but you just can't. They have to be in Tampa. No matter which way you look at it, you have to. Even just from the traffic point of view, they have to be in Tampa because Sean just said it too. You got folks that finally came in from Kissimmee, from Orlando, out there from Lakeland, because it was a closer ride for them. And where they wanted, the 2 spots they're looking at will make complete sense for the Rays. And a lot of the Rays fans that didn't show up this year, they were just naturally pissed off because they're like, all right, we're tired of playing these monkey games where one week we're going to be back in St. Pete, the next week we're going to be in Tampa. And then, of course, is it true they're going to sell the team? Is it not? Now we finally found out that, yes, it went through, it's been ratified, blah, 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 $1.7 billion, and they're off and running. Now it's just where they're going to call home. But they will be back. And just, again, my goofy opinion, back at the Trop next year because they're getting the panels done. Thankfully, we're more than halfway through our hurricane season. So thankfully, if everything stays on schedule, they should be back there in April.
No, you're probably right. And it's going to be, but I don't know, them staying there long term, that's going to be another big debate.
Yep.
The land and what they're going to do and all that red tape and everything else. But I would be stunned next year if you're right that they're not back at the Trop, assuming all the construction is complete.
Yes, that's why I told them, just like I told you before we went on air this morning, I said I have over 150,000 acres in my backyard, and they have plenty of room where they can build up.
All right, my friend. Here it's the end of the Pete Sheppard Show here today on the Coastal Sports Digital Network. What's coming up on the network today? Anything? Tuesday?
Coming up, it is Tuesday. Fast action talk with the boys from K4 Wins. K's Tony Kine. Kip, that'll be coming up at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 o'clock Central Time.
Sounds good. I am Pete Sheppard tomorrow. Bill Sparrow should be one of my guests as always on Wednesday, and maybe another surprise or two as well. Thanks, everybody, for checking us out here on the Coastal Sports Digital Network. I am Pete. I'm back tomorrow at 7 in the a.m. Have a great and safe rest of your Tuesday, everybody. See you tomorrow, 7 a.m. Coastal Sports Digital Network. Bye-bye.